The release of Beyoncé's new album and the ongoing controversy surrounding P. Diddy and his web of connections in the industry, I want to branch off and talk a little bit about people's theories on why the House of Carter may be on shaky grounds in this moment. And when I say House of Carter, I am specifically talking about the patriarch of this family, Jay-Z, and those who are closely associated with him, which also would include Beyoncé, his wife. The rumors of Jay-Z having a longtime mistress while being married to Beyoncé are coming back to the surface with all the heat that has been on P. Diddy and those associated with him. Let's dive into this situation. Let's talk about the rumors, the speculation, all while keeping in mind that this is a real woman who we're talking about. She's not a character in a plot. She's a real woman who tragically lost her life at a very young age. And let's just make sure that we're being very respectful as we dive into this conversation. Back in August of 2010, a bombshell article was published in which 41-year-old Jay-Z was accused of having an affair with a 28-year-old woman named Kathy.
Who was he accused by, though?
White. Kathy White is described by her peers as being very business savvy, very intelligent, extremely kind, and extremely well educated. Kathy was on track to have a very bright and very successful future. Kathy was a graduate of Howard University. She was a model, and Kathy created her own business, which was a PR consulting firm called White Label PR. Because of the work that Kathy did in public relations, she was often rubbing shoulders with A-listers, rappers, and celebrities. The article that was published in 2010 included details of a wild night out in Las Vegas with Jay-Z, P. Diddy, Kathy White, and a model named Claudia Jordan. Their evening was said...
That's the chick that Jaguar Wright was screaming at, hissing at in the camera and shit.
...to be filled with gambling, clubbing, drinking, and a lot of PDA. We know Beyoncé and Jay-Z had been married since 2008, but Beyoncé was nowhere to be seen at this evening out. Once this article, along with damning photographs, were released, an editor over at Star Magazine reached out to Kathy White to try to get her side of it.
Liz Crokin, a journalist who used to work for Star Magazine, was preparing to write a tell-all about Jay-Z's alleged mistress, Kathy White, in August of 2011. Kathy had allegedly been caught creeping with Jay in 2010, and the rumors were spreading like wildfire. So all of that explains to me why Solange smacked up Jay in the elevator, right? I don't remember what year that was, but I'm sure we'll get to it. We opening up a rabbit hole over here on this side
of the story. This former editor over at Star Magazine's name is Liz Crokin. Liz was writing an article looking into some of the controversy surrounding Jay-Z, his history of cheating and shady behaviors, and she was building a timeline, and she really wanted to hear what Kathy had to say about their alleged relationship. And Liz reached out to Kathy White to hear her side of the story. Kathy White denied even knowing Jay-Z. Once Liz was able to produce photographic evidence, Kathy agreed to consider coming forward and sharing her side of the story. A few days after this...
Listen, he had to be in crash out mode, right? Like, because if you just going to the club with Diddy and a bunch of chicks, while you in the club, you know there's cameras there, you know people taking pictures, you know your wife is Beyonce. What you think? You just gonna grease enough palms on the way in and out so that don't come out, or what's happening? I don't even understand it. Or he was on some crash out shit. Yeah, I'm partying with some chicks. I ain't worried about what Beyonce talking about. We on the outs right now. Maybe that's what it was, right? But otherwise, you just arrogant thinking that it ain't going to get out. You Jay-Z, he's puffy. There's people taking pictures, actively taking pictures in this place. How is this not going to get out?
Initial conversation, Liz had not heard anything back from Kathy White, allegedly. This prompted her to give Kathy White's PR firm a call. Liz was able to reach one of Kathy's employees at her PR.
This was going to be White's tell-all about her alleged affair with the NYC rapper. Days after booking the interview with Kathy White, Liz reached out to follow up, and the alleged mistress's colleagues informed her that she had unalived. Wow.
Liz was able to reach one of Kathy's employees at her PR firm, and this employee allegedly shared that Kathy White had passed away suddenly and unexpectedly. When this editor from Star Magazine found out that Kathy White had suddenly passed away, she was completely shocked and immediately wondered if
And that's exactly what a reporter is gonna, somebody that interviews people, somebody that's a journalist, that's exactly what they're gonna think. Wait a minute. I just confronted Shorty with this. This is the stuff movies is made out of, right? What happens in this world? People got hush money. People got money for goons. People got money for cleaners. It's not out the realm of possibility.
This was not a coincidence. Sources close to Kathy were able to divulge that Kathy had gone to Jay-Z to let him know that she was considering coming forward and
Sources told me that Kathy had told Jay she was considering going public with Star via me after we talked. There was also online blogs that reported this too. I ran a small story on this that appeared in Star at the time,
sharing her side of the story and her truth of what has been going on between the two of them. Within days of Jay-Z allegedly learning that his alleged mistress was going to come forward and expose their ongoing affair, on August 28th of 2011, Beyoncé and Jay-Z announced that they were pregnant with their first child. And they announced this at the VMAs.
Is this where we get clapped? Oh, baby bump. Damn, leave it to Kanye to attack you.
On September 1st of 2011, just days after Jay-Z and Beyoncé had announced that they were pregnant, Kathy White would no longer be alive. There are conflicting reports on the state in which Kathy White was found on that very tragic day. Some sources say she was found unresponsive in her New York apartment, while other sources say that there was a 911 call that came from Kathy's apartment. When paramedics arrived, they took Kathy White to the hospital because she was extremely
Kathy Michelle White, Virginia Beach. Kathy Michelle White, Lil Kathy, 29, passed away Thursday, September 1st, 2011. In Harlem, New York, known as to friends as Coriana Hun. And Corey was born in Fort Polk, Louisiana on July 3rd, 1982.
Ill and then was later pronounced unalive in the hospital. Kathy White's autopsy and toxicology were never released to the public, but ultimately the manner in which Kathy passed was ruled to have been caused by a brain aneurysm. It was also...
Upon hearing this, I felt sick and my immediate gut feeling was that she was unalived. The police at the time said she unalived of an aneurysm. I found it highly suspicious that a seemingly healthy 28-year-old woman would drop unalived from an aneurysm, and the timing and unaliving sure was convenient for Jay.
So heavily speculated that Kathy White was pregnant with Jay-Z's child at the time of her passing, but with the autopsy never being released, it's not possible for us to confirm that information. If this woman was pregnant, that just makes everything that much more tragic, but
I wonder what her family thinks of all this.
I just was not able to find definitive proof or confirmation of this detail, so I will just leave it at that. With Kathy being such a young and healthy woman, it is very shocking to hear that this was the way that she passed. This editor at Star Magazine, Liz, continued to dig into this situation despite the fact that Kathy had passed away.
Sounds like Liz was hell-bent. I wanted to pursue this story further, particularly investigate if she was indeed unalived. However, I was discouraged from doing so. My boss was not interested in running a follow-up piece. There were blogs that reported that after I talked to Kathy, she reached out to Jay and told him she may go public about their affair. All right, so this was the Adriana. She went to Christopher. She said, Christopher, they're on me. What's happening? And he went and told Tony, and Tony told Sil, and we know how that ended up, so...
And despite the fact that her boss urged her not to continue looking into the situation. While doing her research, Liz allegedly discovered that Jay-Z, the self-proclaimed king of New York, has many NYPD officials in his back pocket. Liz also allegedly discovered that there was a decent amount of coroner.
Years later, I met sources who knew both Jay-Z, Kathy, and inside information on her unaliving. They strongly believed Jay had her unalived to silence her. One source told me Jay had law enforcement and even coroners in his back pocket. The sources also said that there are corrupt coroners in New York City who will rule homicides as natural unaliving for cash.
in New York City who were willing to rule a very obvious suspicious passing or unaliving as a natural passing for the right amount of cash. Now, I want to talk about one of the biggest theories that I've seen people speculate about online about this entire situation and why it happened in the way that it happened. And again, this is just speculation. I'm not saying that this is facts. Speculation. Many speculated that Beyoncé and Jay-Z used a surrogate to get pregnant with their daughter Blue Ivy. And while of course using a surrogate is most certainly not controversial in the slightest, many were speculating simply from this clip right here that Beyoncé was using a fake bump to appear as though she was pregnant.
First, there was some speculation about the varying sizes of her baby bump. But ever since her recent interview on Sunday Night HD, there's been a whole new wave of people saying what must have been a fake baby bump visually collapsed as she sat down. I admit, that did look weird, but maybe it was a weird camera angle. Or maybe she wears extra padding to keep her due date a secret.
Because of the way that Beyoncé
looked a little crazy though, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You could chalk it up to fabric, you could chalk it up to whatever, but looked a little weird.
His belly folded when she sat down. Many believed that there was no way that that was a real baby bump. There was so much speculation about this situation that even Wendy Williams did a experiment with her audience to see if other pregnant women's bellies folded like that.
When Wendy's hell bent, boy, no pun intended.
Recently, like last Sunday, appeared on an Australian show. And when she sat down, the baby bump squashed, bent, and crumpled.
The reason that I bring this up though is because if Beyoncé and Jay-Z were having a baby via a surrogate, it would be a little odd to announce that they were physically with child. Unless the House of Carter was trying to cause a massive media PR frenzy to take all of the media attention away from the woman who was just recently alleged in the press to be Jay-Z's mistress mysteriously passing away. Well, obviously that is just speculation and maybe a little bit of conspiracy, but if it was their intention to take the media attention off of anyone potentially running a story about Jay-Z's mistress passing away, it most certainly worked because the media and the press were completely zeroed in on Beyoncé and Jay-Z's pregnancy from the moment it was announced to the moment that Blue Ivy made her arrival. And at least I personally never even heard about Kathy White until this whole P. Diddy stuff started flipping everything on its head.
They are masters of PR, masters of marketing over there. You know, again, like I said earlier, when people got the bread, the opportunity, the evil intent to do these things, it's not hard for them. They could afford a Ray Donovan, some kind of fixer, some kind of cleaner. I was thinking about what we heard Jaguar say about Beyonce visiting her childhood home, and then she says the next day, I have to look into it. Days later, the place burns down. It just makes me think of Forrest Gump when he went and tore down Janae's childhood home. He had the bread to do so. He could get the equipment. He did that shit. He knocked it down. You think of those moments in movies, right? A lot of that is real shit. Just like IB said, damn, and people call Chicago corrupt, but this is the first I've ever heard of sketchy coroners. I'm sure there's probably a sketchy coroner in every district across the country. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got enough bread to be friends with this dude and get him to put his ethics to the side for some paper. A lot of people put their ethics to the side for paper. Shit, some people put their ethics to the side just for hero worship.
Another interesting aspect of this entire situation was Kathy White's friendship with Jason Lee. You all probably know Jason Lee from his very successful podcast where he interviews celebrities and social media stars. Jason Lee is also the founder of the publication Hollywood Unlocked. Jason Lee has long accused Beyoncé of knowing exactly what happened to Kathy White.
Because Bey has known since day one that Jason Lee has never had good intentions when it came to her. Beyoncé also knows that Jason Lee was a very close friends with one of Jay-Z's alleged side pieces named Kathy White. CW was allegedly claiming that she was pregnant by Jay around the same time that Beyoncé was pregnant with Blue Ivy. But CW was mysteriously found unalived under suspicious circumstances. Similar to KP, Kim Porter. Listen, man, there's coincidence, there's happenstance, people pass away, there's circumstances, this, that, the other. This just seems too perfect in a circle of too many stories, too many people just disappearing off the face of the planet with lack of explanation and with shadows behind it. You know what I mean? So I hate to say it, but where there's smoke, to me, there's some kind of fire, man. Somebody smoking something.
Does this mean Jason knows the real truth about Kathy White?
Can you imagine had I put that on Hollywood Law? Oh, there was one more thing. Beat this, Johnny.
Look at old girl's face.
Woo! So that in itself, I think Beyonce could have gave me a, you know what I mean? Like there should be a little love there. Now,
maybe she doesn't know.
Beyonce doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't think Beyonce. They're not going to share that with.
The Baykeeper, Yvette Noel, sure, stands between the world and Beyonce. So he's saying Beyonce doesn't know, but Yvette
knows. I got the receipts. I still have the receipts.
Jaguar Wright is also another figure who is known to be very loud and outspoken about the horrors of the rap industry, has also alluded that Beyonce and Jay-Z are guilty of very sinister things.
Nobody getting no about Beyonce. She's doing far worse things than bleaching her skin. I promise you that. That is getting divorced because she don't want to be called as a material witness or be named as an accomplice, but it looked like it's too late.
Jaguar Wright alluded to the fact that Beyonce and Jay-Z will do about anything to make sure their image and brand is protected.
Kathy White's life was taken unfairly. She actually died screaming. And the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous?
Holy.
Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think?
Go.
I mean, I'm just speculating.
And more recently, as we know, Beyonce just released her brand new album, and on that album is a track called Daughter. While it is a beautiful song, many are saying that the beginning of this song sounds an awful lot like a confession.
What'd you just say, Rilo? You said for an autograph, they don't got no morals. All right? Look what she just said. Bathroom attendant let me right in. She was a big fan. That's all it takes, man. Coroner's nothing. Easy work.
Perspective of the reignition of this controversy and the mysterious passing of Kathy White, it makes you pause a little bit when you listen to the lyrics. At the end of the day, there is a lot of speculation and rumors surrounding the situation, and it is really hard to decipher between what is fact and conspiracy sometimes. We know that Jay-Z has a very close relationship with P. Diddy, who has a reputation for taking out anyone who gets in his way, who is a liability, or who he is jealous of. So I guess I wouldn't really say that it's a stretch to think or question whether Jay-Z could have potentially had a hand in Kathy White's passing, especially with the reputation that one of his best friends, Diddy, has.
What'd he do?
That is the gist of the Kathy.
He called Diddy and was like, Diddy, bro, she's about to do a tell-all on me. He was like, you offer her some money? Nah, I don't want to offer her no money. And he's like, oh, it's cheaper to ghost her.
White situation and some of the rumors and speculations surrounding the Kathy White situation. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this is a tragedy. A young woman lost her life way too early. And it is very concerning that this woman had a connection to Jay-Z and was ready to go public about their relationship. And mysteriously, she passes away before she has the opportunity. Let me know what you guys think about this situation in the comments. Do you think Jay-Z and Beyonce are aware of what happened to Kathy White, or do you think this is just speculation and rumors that the internet has created? I know what I think, but I want to know what you guys think.
All right, y'all. Liz Crokin is the lady that, the journalist that Kathy White was supposed to speak to. And when she called to confirm, she found out Kathy White was unalived. Note the date. Hey, Jay, I was the reporter who talked to your alleged mistress right before she was unalived. I know everything. I know what you did. Go F yourself. Your time is coming. Maybe you and Diddy can share a prison cell together. Justice is coming. Mind you, she's talking this Diddy stuff. This is, she did this tweet on March 2nd, 2024, but she's responding to her own tweet from 2017 that says, when Kanye West says Jay-Z has unalivers, I believe he's talking about the people who unalived Kathy White. So this lady's held this, she's held this to her chest. She's been at war with this, and she's seeing her things come to fruition now in 2024. Let's see where this goes.
Jay-Z called me. Hey, Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head. Just call me.
In 2016, Ye West was put on a 5150 hold immediately after he went on a rant on stage at a concert exposing information he said could get him unalived. During the rant, he supported Donald Trump. It's only a matter of time before spirit cooking Jay is exposed like Diddy. There's a reason Ye said Jay's got unalivers. I would know. He's evil to the core. I pray there will be justice for Kathy White one day. The false idols will continue to fall, mark my words. Where's Jay in this picture? See Diddy's ass right here. He looking right at the camera like, we got you, bitch. You got popped off. What you looking at? What all y'all looking at? Y'all all looking at the camera, huh? I still don't see Jay's big head.
So there were a couple of...
He looking at the camera too like, oh, you got me.
Kathy partying with Jay-Z, Diddy, and Claudia. And you could clearly see Jay-Z and Diddy in this picture. And to the side, you see Claudia and Kathy.
Bro, look at these two guilty.
And Kathy is supposed to be the woman in the pink. It's a blurry picture, so we don't know if it's her for sure, but they're saying that it is. So this rumor about Kathy and Jay-Z being together started back in September of 2010. Fast forward a year later, Kathy mysteriously passed away. According to her obituary, she passed away September 1st, 2011 in Harlem, New York, and she was only 29 years old. And it was said that she passed away from an aneurysm, but some people don't believe that was the true cause of her passing. So I was on this site called Foxella, and they reposted this article from HSK, which I'm assuming is Hollywood Street King. And it said this: HSK exclusive. HSK was the first to reveal that 28-year-old Kathy White was Jay-Z's mistress. Don't believe me? Ask Claudia Jordan. Yesterday, I got the news that Kathy Michelle White had suddenly passed away. So I quickly began my investigation, and guess what? Kathy did not die from a brain aneurysm as reported widely around the internet today. According to an NYPD detective who told me, Kathy's cause of death is uncertain, and later today we'll have the autopsy and toxicology reports. Right now, the death is considered suspicious. Kathy White died exactly 1 year to the day from when I broke the story of her and Jay-Z's affair. Here's exactly what the NYPD told me. A 911 call came in from an apartment on 130 West 19th Street in Manhattan. Ambulance came and took Kathy because she was sick. They took her to the Beth Israel Hospital, and that's where she expired. It was too early to be speculating that an aneurysm killed her. They'll be doing an autopsy later today to check out her cause of death. But someone might have given Kathy a bad drug, so they'll do a toxicology, and we'll have to wait 2 weeks for that report. Wait, there's more. 2 weeks prior to her death, Kathy was contacted by a major tabloid that was investigating the Jay-Z connection. She gave them little information to go on, but according to one of our sources, following her conversation with the tabloid, she called Jay and told him that she was going to go public with their affair for a price. This all happened in the last 2 weeks. Then a little more than 48 hours after the announcement that Beyoncé was pregnant with Jay-Z's baby, this young lady suddenly dies under suspicious circumstances. Now, it was rumored that Kathy was also pregnant, and she allegedly was pregnant with Jay-Z's baby, but we don't know that to be true either.
IB said, is there some high-end unaliving service these folks are all using? Nah, the same one that's always been in existence. Money and thirst.
Once again, all of this is alleged. We don't know if Jay-Z is the cause of Kathy's passing.
Allegations.
And it can't be proven, so we just don't know. But I will say, ever since Liz called Jay-Z out and woke up this story, People have been talking. I've been seeing a lot of videos and a lot of conspiracies going around. Even Jaguar Wright has her own conspiracies about what went down.
Kathy White's life was taken unfairly. She actually died screaming. And the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think? And maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand's sake. I mean, I'm just speculating.
Now, once
Stop being so damn dramatic and wet-mouthed about it. You annoy me with that shit.
say this is all speculation, and Jaguar does speculate a lot, even though she is spot on about some things. I mean, she was spot on about Diddy,
man,
but at the same time, you can't believe everything you hear.
Facts.
However, I will say this: that whole Kathy White story is very, 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 very creepy and very suspicious. It's honestly a bit sad because she was in the industry, but you hardly see anything about her. You don't even see her friends speak on her. It's a sad situation all
Which
around.
is why Jaguar Wright called out Claudia Jordan and said, man, show up for your friend. Stick up for your friend. Where you at? You know? And evidently she's silent. Now think about it. Let's just say Jay had nothing to do with her. Just shows you how much one picture and an internet full of people, a sea of people, will all jump to conclusions, and we could probably turn stories into, bring stories into existence that didn't exist prior. You know what I'm saying? Now, is that the case here? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm just pointing out that fact, that all it takes is a picture. But this posture right here, this is guilty. This is looking at the cameraman like, bro, don't you know? Would disappear you and your camera? Right? That's what that looks like. I do know that the media blows up things. I do know that things get out of hand and things go, you know, whole East Coast, West Coast shit happen like that. Magazines making it something that it wasn't. So did Liz just find across the bear, across the carry, and just choose this story as I'm going to hold on to this? Or she probably believes wholeheartedly something happened to this young lady. This young lady told me in confidence that she was going to speak. I was going to get this big interview, break this story on Jay-Z's head, right? And then old girl gone, right? She lose her story. Is this a revenge plot from her? I'm gonna get my story one way or the other then. Or does she truly believe that Jay did that to this young lady? And I want to know where Jaguar Wright puts together that Beyonce doesn't know how to control her temper.